want to describe some of the basic things to think about in your iron shirt postures. And the embracing the tree posture is really the same foundation as the holding the golden urns and even the golden turtle. As we go down there, a lot of the same principles apply. So I just want to cover some of those at somewhat in depth, so that some things for you to think about as you're standing in your iron shirt postures and to get the most benefit out of the structural alignment aspect of it. So starting from the ground up, good idea to have your feet about hip width apart, going straight down. You don't want to, martial arts, we used to do a lot of horse stance. It's good for building muscle, but that's not what we're going for in these postures. So I like to have them about hip width apart, find a way that is comfortable. Have a good connection with the earth from your feet. The Taoists talk about the 9 points of the feet, which are the 5 toes, the ball of the foot, the heel, so that's 6, 7, and then both sides here of the foot. Have all 9 points. Gripping the ground even, it could be like you're grabbing the ground with your feet and your toes. You don't want to cause tension there, but you do want to feel that connectedness. And sometimes as you're getting rooted and getting into the ground, as you're starting your process, you can rotate the hips, rotate the sacrum and the pubic bone to feel each one of those points touching. And as I bend here at the quad or the inguinal crease, as I bend there, that actually helps me sink down. One of the pitfalls here is that we want to hold all the weight in the knees, and we don't want to do that. We want to relax down to the earth, let our ankles, let our feet connect with the earth. We don't need to try to support our body, because whenever we try to bend at the knees and hold the weight at the knees, our quads will get tired, the sides of our legs, our hamstrings will engage a little bit, but it'll mostly be muscle strength keeping us up, and that'll fatigue us. That'll be the kind of thing that'll cause you to shake in your iron shirt. And literally, if you try this for half an hour, you will start shaking, your muscles will get fatigued. You'll see where it is that you're holding the tension. So I recommend starting with a few minutes and building up gradually. But the way to adjust your structure is by doing it longer. And the more that you can relax into it, one of my teachers, she and another healing Tao teacher, they would stand for hours at night. And the way that you can do that is not by muscular strength, but by structural strength. By staying rooted and grounded with the earth and breathing back and forth from the earth in a nice relaxed posture. Again, muscle strength won't hold you up here. So we talked about the feet connecting, we talked about the ankles. They're more equipped to handle the weight. The knees are slightly bent, but it's not a situation where the knees are holding the weight. Our hips and our inguinal crease are bent. Our sacrum is, we want the ability to have our sacrum be able to move and relax. So you want to practice tucking it in to elongate that spine. You also want to practice letting it be out, having our butt behind us. We want to be able to have that range of motion. So that's something I work on when I'm standing, as I'm breathing, gently moving that so that our spine has that flexibility. Over time in our society of sitting, driving, being in an office chair, these can get really tight and rigid. So bringing the flexibility and the awareness and the movement and the space between the vertebrae, bringing that all back to this area, it's a tremendous benefit of the iron shirt. And as you're working on tucking that under, you're practicing, it tones the butt muscles and it elongates that spine. And so, as you're standing there in these postures, feel that moving, feel that breathing and that moving there. As we move up from the hip area and the sacrum and the spine, we come up to the relaxed chest. So as we're standing in these postures, we want our chest to be relaxed here. We don't want to start having tension in our chest. We want to be soft, gentle, easy on ourselves here. And by having our arms out in a sunken chest, it puts just a gentle pressure on our thymus gland. It opens up the scapula here behind our back, opens up that wing point, gently allows us to relax into that. By opening up those scapula, the energy behind the heart can open, flow freely up the spine, and we're able to feel the energy moving through that microcosmic orbit, smiling down in the inner smile by having that relaxed structure in our upper body. So we've built our foundation from the ground up: feet, knees, hips. Breathing our lower abdomen, having a nice slow center of gravity here. Having that chi belt, like the chi cummerbund we've talked about. A nice steady feeling of pressure from our abdominal breathing. We come up here, we're nice and relaxed. The scapula is open. It's almost like there's a circle in this area here. We've got a nice round structure here. We don't want it to be too much squared out. It cuts off the chi. Chi can't flow too close. Chi can't really flow that way. So we want to imagine a big chi ball, that we're holding one of those big yoga balls or one of those big exercise balls that you see. You can think about holding one of those in your arms. It's called embracing the tree. So go out and hug a tree. Find a big tree about your size and wrap your arms around it, and that'll give you some idea of the structure that you want here. So, as we find a comfortable place for our arms, we feel our neck nice and relaxed. We tilt our chin in gently and opening up the back of the skull here at the base of the skull, opening that up. We can have our eyes open. Sometimes I like to have my eyes closed. You could do either one. But we feel that crown being pulled as if there's a string tied into our crown, elongating that spine. And so then once you find a structure that's comfortable for you and has some of these main points, a little bit at a time, add them in, then you just practice the breathing that we talked about earlier. You practice the natural breathing. Just standing in this posture is the first way to begin. Standing in these different postures. Just stand in them. Just practice them. Just stand in them. And the golden turtle, one thing I want to mention about it, you start out here in the same way as the iron shirt, but then you bend over. And so once you get over in this is probably one of the hardest ones for me to learn on my own. I really needed a friend to help because my spine needs to be straight. As I get all the way over, I need to have my spine straight so that I'm not curved, I'm not hunched over. You can start with by having a chair or a small stool or a box that you lean on to help get that straightness in your spine. And as you get down there, you want to actually open the chest and feel it expand. And that's a difficult one to get by yourself, but with some of the pointers I just mentioned, and with the Iron Shirt Qigong book from Montauk Chia, and with a partner helping you, you can work through that one. But as for the other ones, just the standing ones, that's a great place to start. And just do your simple breathing. Do your natural breathing, do your abdominal breathing. You can start to integrate the reverse breathing. You can do the inner smile and the microcosmic orbit as you're in these postures. One of my favorite things to do is the earth breathing, where I'm breathing the kidneys down. I'm imagining the kidney energy going down 6 feet, 12 feet into the earth, coming back up to my kidneys, back down, back up. I'm gently bringing the earth energy to surround these organs. My heart, if I'm feeling a lot of emotions, I'll do the same thing with my heart, ground that energy down and back up with my mind as I'm standing in my postures. And the last thing is the bone breathing. And with the bone breathing, you can see the spiraling around the bones here as you're standing in your posture. You can imagine, visualize gentle pressure wrapping around those bones. In the Tai Chi Classics book, it says that it's like steel wrapped in cotton. So think about the bones are the strong, sturdy, dense material, and the chi is like the cotton, soft and flexible, being wrapped around them. And one last pointer here, as you're as you're working on getting that spinal alignment, it can be helpful to use a wall. And so getting your feet hip width apart, a nice steady, stable structure there. Get it up against a wall and practice elongating your spine all the way up against that wall, from the sacrum all the way up to the head, and that'll help you get that straight spine. And it'll help you learn different ways to tuck your sacrum and feel that lower back opening and closing as you're learning to find mobility there in your hips and in your lower back. And then the last thing, when you're staying in these postures, have a friend come and just push you from side to side very gently, like applying just gentle pressure so that you can feel the energy coming down and going down to the leg, so that you don't want them pushing you off balance, but what you want to do is them gently to add more pressure from the sides, the front, the other side, and the back, so that you're learning to transfer that power down into the earth, down to the other side, into the heels. When you first start, it may be that you're can be pushed off balance easily. Again, it's not a pushing, it's just a gentle pressure so that you can start to feel your rootedness. And you do it, you'll see what I mean of how you feel, okay, be more connected to the earth. So try these practices, be easy on yourself, have fun, and remember, it's just a hobby. Enjoy it. So, thank you.